Locomotion is a boon to animals. We find plants moving and animals moving as well as locomoting. So what's the basic difference between the two? Well, movement is basically just moving a particular part, while locomotion is translocating from one place to another. Hence we say that plants only move, while animals can carry out both movement as well as locomotion. Well, in our previous video, we have seen how various parts of the body are connected. Now let's have a look as to how animals locomote and how the parts inside our body move. Wait a second, do parts within us actually move? Of course they do. Although we do not notice the organs inside us bouncing, they all move in some or the other manner. Imagine if one fine day the stomach and intestines stop moving. What would happen then? Well, it would be quite bad as the complete digestion process would stop. Similarly, what if our lungs stop contraction and relaxation? Well, needless to say, that would cost us our life. So then, who helps us with these important processes of movement and locomotion? Yes, it's the muscular tissue. As the name says, muscular means made up of muscles. The cells of this tissue are elongated and contain contractile proteins. Now what could that be? Well, when we say movement, it means the muscles themselves have to perform contraction and relaxation, right? So for this, the cells have proteins like actin and myosin, which themselves contract or relax, thus enabling the muscles to do the same. With this, does this mean that the tissue will not have types? Because all muscles are the same, right? Well, actually not. Muscles come in various types depending on their functions. So are we trying to say that muscles in our stomach are different from those in our biceps? Of course they are. The fact that both serve different functions itself suggests that their structure and nature is going to be different. So what are the various types of muscular tissue? Well, for simplicity of understanding, we divide them into three major categories: striated muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. Let's have a look at each type. The first one is called striated muscles. Now, as the name suggests, striated means when we stain this tissue and observe it under the microscope, then it exhibits striations in the form of alternate light and dark bands. Where do we find this type, by the way? We find these striated muscles attached to the bones. Hence, they are also named as the skeletal muscles. Also, when we say attached to the skeleton, it means they help in movement of our hands and legs along with locomotion. So can we say that their action is carried out according to our will? Absolutely. And that is the reason why we also call them the voluntary muscles. Thus, striated muscles are called as skeletal muscles and voluntary muscles as well. These are found to have a typical cylindrical structure due to wrapping of the long muscle fibers together. These are usually unbranched and multinucleate in nature. On similar lines, we have the next type, that is the smooth muscles. These are also called as unstriated and involuntary. Now we can guess their structure and nature from the names itself. Smooth or unstriated because they do not present a banding pattern like the striated ones when stained and observed under a microscope. Instead, they have long spindle-shaped uninucleate cells. And why involuntary? Yes, because their activities are not under our control. So what could be their location now? Well, we find smooth muscles in the stomach, in the bronchi, in the uterus, and also in the iris of eyes. Now let's take a look at the last type, that is the cardiac muscles. Again, the name is enough for us to state its function and location. These muscles are those found in the heart. So the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of our heart or the working of our heart is all because of these cardiac muscles. Although they are involuntary in activity, their structure is like that of striated muscles partially. They are cylindrical and branched but uninucleate in nature. These muscles perform rhythmic contraction and relaxation tirelessly throughout our life. Well, this was about the three major types of muscular tissues, the striated, smooth and cardiac. In the next video, we will discuss nervous tissues in detail.